You have been lied to your entire life. Society, your school, and probably even your parents told you a very simple formula for success. Work hard, save your money, invest carefully, and maybe, just maybe, when you are 65, you will be rich. But what if I told you that the grandest empires in London, the towering skyscrapers in New York, and the tech unicorns in Silicon Valley were built using exactly $0 of their founders' own money? Yes, zero. Welcome to the world's most guarded financial secret. The elites call it OPM, other people's money. Today, I am going to tell you a story that business schools refuse to teach. It is the story of how a 26-year-old college dropout from East London manipulated the global supply chain, legally held millions of dollars that didn't belong to him, and built an empire out of thin air. Before we dive into the dark and brilliant psychology of the capital appropriation mindset, do me a favor. If you want to escape the matrix of working for a paycheck, hit that subscribe button right now. We are about to change the way you look at money forever. Meet Arthur. The year was 2018. Arthur was sitting in a freezing, cramped apartment in London, staring at his bank account. Balance? Negative £400. He had tried dropshipping, he had tried crypto, he had tried it all. Nothing worked. Why? Because the conventional wisdom says you need money to make money. But Arthur realized something profound while staring out his window at the glittering financial district of Canary Wharf. The banks down there didn't use their own money to build those towers. They used the depositors' money. They took your money, paid you 1% interest, loaned it out at 8%, and pocketed the difference. They were masters of capital appropriation. Arthur decided he wasn't going to be the depositor anymore. He was going to be the bank. But how do you become a bank when you sell physical products? Arthur decided to enter the high-end, luxury furniture market. He created a beautiful, premium-looking brand online called Lusso Domus, targeting wealthy homeowners in America and the UK. He listed gorgeous, handcrafted Italian leather sofas. The price? $10,000 apiece. Here is where the genius begins. Arthur didn't own a single sofa. He didn't have a warehouse. He didn't even have a factory. What he had was a deep understanding of human psychology and the concept of the float. The float is the magical period of time between when you collect money from a customer and when you actually have to pay your supplier. Warren Buffett built Berkshire Hathaway on this exact concept using insurance premiums. Arthur was about to do it with Italian leather. Arthur flew to Milan, Italy, using his last remaining credit card. He met with traditional, family-owned furniture manufacturers who made incredible products but had no idea how to sell them on the internet. He walked into their dusty workshops wearing a tailored suit he bought at a thrift store, projecting the aura of a highly successful British distributor. He told them, "I can bring you millions in American orders, but my corporate policy requires net 90 payment terms." For those who don't know, net 90 means Arthur gets the product, but he doesn't have to pay the Italian factory for 90 days. Because the Italian factories were desperate for international sales, they agreed. Pause for a second and think about what just happened. If you think Arthur is a genius so far, drop a genius in the comments. If you think he is playing a dangerous game, comment dangerous. I read every single comment, and I want to know where you stand. Now, back to London. Arthur launched his website. He spent his last $500 on targeted Facebook and Google ads. Within 3 days, he got his first order from a wealthy doctor in New York. $10,000 instantly hit Arthur's Stripe account. The customer was explicitly told on the website, "Because our items are bespoke and handcrafted in Italy, shipping takes up to 8 weeks." The customer was perfectly happy to wait for a premium product. Now, let's look at Arthur's balance sheet. He has $10,000 in cash. He emails the order to the Italian factory. The factory makes the sofa and ships it directly to New York. The factory sends Arthur an invoice for $4,000. But remember the contract? Arthur doesn't have to pay that $4,000 for 90 days. This means Arthur has $10,000 in his bank account right now, and he owes $4,000 in 3 months. Most people would take the $6,000 of profit and go buy a Rolex or a sports car. That is the mindset of the poor. The capital appropriation mindset says, how can I use this entire $10,000 to multiply my power? Arthur took the entire $10,000, even the money he owed the factory, and dumped it straight back into advertising. With $10,000 in ads, he sold 10 more sofas. Now he had $100,000 in cash. He owed the factory $40,000, but not for another 90 days. He took that $100,000 and pumped it back into marketing, hiring top-tier salespeople and dominating the search engines. By month 6, Arthur had $2 million of cash sitting in his bank account. This was money paid by customers for goods that were currently on container ships crossing the Atlantic Ocean. He owed his suppliers $800,000, but the bills weren't due yet. This massive pool of cash is the float. Arthur was legally holding over $1 million of other people's money. He wasn't paying interest on it. It was a 0% loan provided by his own customers and suppliers. With this massive liquidity, Arthur started buying real estate in London. He used the cash-flowing float to put down payments on commercial properties. He was building generational wealth without risking a single penny of his own capital. This is the exact strategy Amazon used to conquer the world. Amazon collects your money today, but pays their third-party sellers weeks later. But every empire faces its day of reckoning, and if you are taking notes, this is the most crucial part of the video. Because playing with other people's money is like dancing with a loaded gun. In the winter of 2020, the global supply chain collapsed. Container ships were stuck. Ports in America were shut down. The Italian factories had to halt production. Suddenly, Arthur's perfect machine ground to a terrifying halt. Customers in New York and Los Angeles, who had paid tens of thousands of dollars, began demanding refunds because their 8-week wait time turned into 16 weeks. At the same time, the 90-day invoices from Italy were coming due. For the first time in 2 years, Arthur was staring at a collapsing float. If he refunded the customers, he wouldn't have the cash to pay the factories. If he paid the factories, he would be sued by angry American lawyers. The walls of his empire were crumbling. I want to pause here. What would you do in this situation? Would you declare bankruptcy and run? Or would you fight? Let me know your strategy in the comments below right now. Seriously, pause the video and type it out. I have hidden a specific phrase in the background of this video, and the first person to spot it and comment will get a pinned comment. Arthur didn't run. He understood that in the world of high finance, debt is actually leverage. He flew back to Milan, not as a wealthy distributor this time, but as a crisis manager. He sat down with the factory owners and laid his cards on the table. He told them, If you demand payment today, my company goes bankrupt and you get pennies on the dollar. But if you convert my debt into equity, if you become part owners of Lusodomus, I will make you partners in a global brand. Because the factories were also bleeding cash, they had no choice. They accepted. Arthur essentially used the money he owed them to buy them out. Then, he emailed his American customers with a masterful piece of PR. He didn't apologize for a delay. He rebranded it as an exclusive aging process for the wood and leather, offering them a lifetime warranty if they kept their orders. Most of them stayed. Arthur survived. But he didn't just survive. He evolved. He learned that capital appropriation isn't just about delaying payments. It is about building a structure so robust that your vendors and your customers need you more than you need them. Today, Arthur's company is worth over $50 million. He didn't get there by saving money from a salary. He got there by mastering the flow of capital. He realized that money isn't real. It is just kinetic energy moving from one account to another. The person who controls the gates, who controls the speed of that movement, controls the wealth. So, what is the lesson here for you? You don't need to fly to Milan to use this. You can use OPM in everyday life. If you run a service business, ask for 50% upfront and use that cash to hire the freelancer to do the work. You are appropriating capital. If you are in real estate, use seller financing. The mindset shift is this: stop asking, "How can I afford this?" and start asking, "Whose money can I use to afford this?" Is this ethical? Is it a brilliant business strategy or a borderline scam? That is the beauty of capitalism. The line is drawn by the victors. If you found value in Arthur's story and want to dive deeper into the exact email scripts, contracts, and psychological tricks the top 1% use to leverage OPM, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. And please, share this video with that one friend who is still trying to save their way to $1 million. They need to hear this. Until next time, stop saving, start leveraging, and build your empire.